Welcome to today's episode of Mind Matters, where we dive into the fascinating world of human thought and behavior. I'm your host, Alex, and I'm thrilled to have Dr. Jordan Taylor with us today. Dr. Taylor is a distinguished professor who has spent years studying both philosophy and psychology. Welcome, Dr. Taylor.
Thank you, Alex. It's great to be here and discuss these profound topics with you and your audience.
Today, we're exploring the intersection between philosophy and psychology, two fields that deeply influence our understanding of the human mind. Let's start at the very beginning. Dr. Taylor, could you explain how these two disciplines are interconnected?
Absolutely, Alex. Philosophy and psychology overlap in their shared interest in the mind and human behavior. Philosophy is the older of the two and has traditionally dealt with questions about existence, knowledge, and ethics. Questions about what things are, how we know what we know, and what we ought to do about it. Psychology split off from philosophy in the late 19th century, turning the philosophical questions about the mind into a scientific inquiry.
That's a rich history indeed. Who are some of the key figures in the transition of these philosophical questions into the realm of psychology?
One of the pivotal figures was Wilhelm Wundt. In 1879, he founded what is considered the first psychological laboratory in Leipzig, Germany. Wundt was originally trained in medicine and philosophy, and he used these backgrounds to shape his approach to psychology. He believed that experimental methods could be applied to study the processes of the mind, particularly perception and sensory processes.
It sounds like Wundt really set the stage for psychology as a scientific discipline. How did his work influence later developments in psychology?
Wundt's emphasis on experimentation influenced generations of psychologists. His methods laid the groundwork for what would become experimental psychology, leading to the development of various psychological theories and practices. For instance, his work influenced American psychologist William James, who further advanced the study of psychology through his seminal work, The Principles of Psychology, which explored consciousness, emotion, and habit.
Moving into the 20th century, how did the relationship between philosophy and psychology continue to evolve?
In the 20th century, the two fields began to diverge even further as psychology adopted more quantitative methods and became more empirical. However, the philosophical underpinnings remained evident in areas like the philosophy of mind, ethics, and existential psychology. Philosophers like Bertrand Russell and later Ludwig Wittgenstein continued to influence psychological thought, particularly through their work on language and meaning.
Let's delve a bit into some specific areas where philosophy and psychology intersect. Can you discuss how these fields approach a concept like consciousness?
Certainly. Consciousness is a core concept that both philosophers and psychologists wrestle with. Philosophically, there's a focus on the qualitative experience, what it feels like to experience consciousness. This is often discussed in terms of phenomenology or the nature of experience. Psychologically, researchers might look at the neurological underpinnings of consciousness, how it arises from brain processes, and how it affects cognition and behavior.
That makes me wonder about the practical implications of these studies. How does our understanding of consciousness impact real-world applications, like in medicine or technology?
It's profoundly impactful. In medicine, understanding consciousness can help in treating disorders of consciousness, like coma or vegetative states. In technology, insights from the study of consciousness are being used to develop more sophisticated AI and machine learning systems, which attempt to mimic human cognitive processes.
It seems like there's a lot to unpack there. What about ethics? How do philosophy and psychology collaborate in this field?
Ethics is another crucial crossover area. Both philosophers and psychologists are interested in how people make moral decisions. Philosophy provides the theoretical frameworks like utilitarianism or Kantian ethics, and psychology applies these frameworks to study how people actually behave in ethical dilemmas. This is a key area in applied psychology and is used to enhance outcomes in fields like business, law, and healthcare.
As we wrap up, could you share how someone might use an understanding of both philosophy and psychology in their everyday life?
Understanding both fields enhances critical thinking and self-awareness. It helps individuals understand their own beliefs, motivations, and behaviors, and also fosters a deeper empathy for the perspectives of others. This can lead to better personal decisions, improved relationships, and more ethical behavior in both personal and professional contexts.
Dr. Taylor, this has been a deeply insightful conversation. Thank you so much for sharing your knowledge with us today.
Thank you, Alex. I've enjoyed discussing these important topics with you and your listeners.
And thank you to everyone tuning in to Mind Matters. Join us next time as we continue to explore the mysteries of the human mind and behavior. Until then, keep thinking deeply.